And our guest is Donna Conroy from Bright Future Jobs. And good morning, first of all. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me on, Sam.
One of the mottos, or maybe the motto of your group is Stop Offshoring. Explain to our listeners what offshoring is.
Offshoring is a way to take jobs that are in the U.S. economy and then pull them to India or China and have them there temporarily. This whole process only works if corporations use a little-known law called H-1B visas. And Senator Durbin has a great bill that's
This is Dick Durbin from Illinois. This is Dick Durbin from Illinois.
Correct. And this law will stop these corporations from using these visas and pulling these jobs to India and China temporarily. The real issue here is that the outsourcing of top-dollar white-collar jobs actually pulls the job temporarily there, but the job stays in the U.S. economy. Unlike when you ship a factory, that factory never comes back, but these jobs do and will come back.
Now, you were speaking of jobs in New Jersey, where somebody, let's say in Piscataway, there was an ad for a job. Would you speak to that?
So there's a job opening that we found for a job in
Piscataway,
New Jersey. And they're advertising walk-in interviews. So that sounds good. But you have to go to Pune, India to interview because the company is only considering citizens from abroad. And this is legal.
Now, the people in India who are applying for these jobs, they're also getting ripped off, yes?
Absolutely they are. In fact, in this particular ad, the successful applicant has to give the company over $2,000 to process the visas, and the successful applicant actually has to sign a bond contract which gives up their right to quit the job unless they pay thousands of dollars in penalties. Now, these bond contracts are illegal in the United States, but they are legal in India. This is how Indian companies here in the United States exploit Indian tech workers only.
What drew Senator Durbin's interest in this?
Well, I'll have to say me and a former Indian tech worker who was on an H-1B visa. He and I went to Washington, D.C., and I explained the way the law works. In fact, I read him the strategic plan from the Department of Labor that states H-1B workers may be hired even when a qualified U.S. worker wants the job, and a U.S. worker can be displaced from the job in favor of the foreign worker. And then we showed them the H-1B only want ads. And then Rajiv Dabhadkar, who actually lived in New Jersey, by the way, he explained that Indian tech workers were being scammed, through the visa processing fees. He also explained that Indian tech workers actually came to this country unemployed. They were told that they had a job opening, but when they came here, they were stuck in a guest house. And so one of his key demands was that the United States should verify that there actually is a job opening.
Let me ask you a question. If you talk to one of these companies, might they not say, we have a right to reduce operating costs by hiring cheaper workers, forcing us to hire U.S. workers at higher rates is going to drive up the cost of products and services to the consumer?
You know what? That's too bad. The reality is it has nothing to do with what they say. This is an American law that is federal. It covers every single employer. So it doesn't matter what they say. This is a U.S. law that gives these companies protections to legally discriminate. It only matters that Americans stand up and demand that this legal discrimination end, and that means changing the law. And
but
that's
couldn't
why
they? But couldn't they say, okay, fine, we're going to now move the entire company to India. We're going to employ everyone over there instead of for $30 an hour, $10 an hour, and might not this law speed that up of losing all the jobs?
Excellent. I'm glad you brought that up. That is the major myth that companies are arguing. They're saying, you've got to give us more. We've got to expand these corporate visa programs that give us a chance to recruit abroad for U.S. job openings. Otherwise, we're going to outsource more jobs. However, it's actually the Indian economic prime minister who stated that they need these corporate visa programs in order to outsource jobs. So he called these corporate visa programs the outsourcing visas. If that were true, they wouldn't be demanding these programs.
Do you think, or let me ask this another way, have you done any surveys, has anyone done any surveys about how Americans feel about this? Because there are people, I'm not one of them, but there are people who say, if it costs less, I don't care. And I give you proof of that, the success of Walmart. Virtually all their products come from foreign countries. I don't see people boycotting them.
Well, all I can tell you, Sam, is that I've never met anyone that says, oh, yes, let's increase the outsourcing of top-dollar, white-collar jobs. No matter where you're at on the political spectrum, this has the highest agreement of any issue, including the war. Or the wars, I should say.
It's got that big a movement behind it.
No, actually, we're the only organization nationally that's focusing exclusively on the outsourcing of top-dollar jobs. But so we don't have a movement per se, but every single American thinks this is just reprehensible and pure insanity. So we have a tremendous breadth of support, but we haven't. We've just started to mobilize this support politically. And let me explain to your listeners: there will be no teabaggers saying, increase the legal discrimination of Americans, outsource more jobs. It ain't going to happen.
I understand why you would say that, why anybody would say that, but, it seems to me that a lot, and I don't want to get too political about this, but it seems to me that a lot of the Tea Party are people who actually have a grudge against white-collar people. A lot of them are blue-collar people, and a lot of their anger is directed at blue-collar executives.
I don't know very many. I don't know any teabaggers. I'll admit to that. But as I said, I've never met. I've been on all kinds of radio stations, from the right to the left to the middle. No one has ever agreed that American law should legally discriminate against citizens and green card holders. And I've never met anyone who says it's a good idea to outsource more jobs.
Oh, that's true. All right, Donna, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Sam.